What's going on, family? Welcome to another morning of Read Rich and Righteous. Welcome. Hope you are well. We are reading my book, Rich and Righteous: Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money, Manifestation, and Your Mind. We've been here for almost 3 months now. 3 months every weekday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will continue to go through that until we get to the end of the book. We are already on page 323. Today's reading is on how to stop picking cotton. How to stop picking cotton. That's what we're discussing today. If you're joining us for the first time, we want to welcome you to this family, to this community that we've built to attune our mind to a mind state of abundance. We know that the collective consciousness continues to talk about recession and scarcity-based language and poverty consciousness. And so this is what we do at the beginning of the day to attune ourselves to a mindset of abundance and to wealth consciousness. We are developing a practice of tithing not only our money to our own temple, right, but also tithing our time, which means giving. If you're awake for 16 hours a day, then tithing your time would look like giving 96 minutes to your creator, your source, whatever you call it, however you define that. And so we spend about 45 minutes to an hour here every single morning reading Rich and Righteous to attune ourselves to a mind state of abundance. Some of you have already done your meditation, you've done your yoga, you've done whatever practice that you use to connect with your source. In the same way that we plug in our computers or our cell phones, the same way we want to be plugged into the Wi-Fi, we have to plug in our spirit to the original source. This is how I stay so empowered all throughout my day. Before we start giving to other people, we have to pour into ourselves, right? So this has been a blessed space. It's been so beautiful to see the changes and transformations in the way that you all relate to money, see the stories of how money has come to you and flowed to you from unexpected places. And so we're going to continue to retune our frequency and not make sure that we don't stoop down to the lower levels of frequency in our base consciousness, but we want to achieve our best self. And so we are here. We read about 4 to 8 pages every single day. The chapters are pretty short. And if you haven't got the book already, you can go to moneyandmanifestation.com. Again, that's moneyandmanifestation.com. That's pinned on YouTube and on Instagram. You can get the book. If you go to Amazon, it is $100. It is $100 for one copy of the book on Amazon. But if you go to moneyandmanifestation.com, you can get 5 copies for $100. Plus, you get the rituals workbook, which is all the exercises at the end of each chapter, and you get the audiobook. The reason I've designed it that way is to put you in an immediate state of giving. So 1 copy is for you, and the 4 copies are for you to give away. That immediately stimulates your personal economy because it puts you in a state of giving. As you give, so you shall receive. The reason many of you aren't receiving at the level that you desire is because you're not giving to match that receiving. All the world's wealthiest people have given, and they've given at great levels, whether they've given birth to ideas, whether they've given jobs to other people, right? Whether they've given solutions to problems that other people have, they are givers. Regardless if you like how they're giving or not, they are in a state of giving. And so I want to increase your state of giving. Now, we know that there are some of you who are in a temporary state of lack. It is a temporary state. It is an external condition based on your old thinking. These are the fruits of your old thinking. So we know that this is not a permanent state for you. You are not poor. You may be in poverty, but you are not poor, right? We never accept the identity of I am poor because we know the power of I am. So for those of you who are in a temporary state of poverty, right, or in a temporary state of lack, you can actually get a free book. And the way to get a free book is to go to facebook.com/groups/rich and righteous, facebook.com/groups/rich and righteous. There you will see people who have bought 5 copies of the book, and they're actively looking for community members to give their extra copies to. So before you go there, I will admit you, but before you go in there and just post from a victim state of consciousness, hey, look at me, y'all. I need a book. I'm going through a lot right now. We don't need all of that. We don't want to ask from a place of neediness. We want to ask from a place of genuine need. Hey, everyone, I need a jump start right now, right? I need a jump start on my car. I need a defibrillator to get my heart going. I need a book to actually get my personal economy stimulated and motivated and going again. And so look for people who are looking to give first. Before you just go and post, hey, I need a book, go look for people who are willing to give first. For those of you who have received your books, please post in the group that you have extra books to give. And then those who need a book, you may not have $100, but you may have $10. And you would say to that person, look, I'll cash app you for shipping, right? I can't pay $100 right now, but I'll cash app you for shipping. And when my external economy, when my personal economy changes and I'm in a state of abundance, I will pay it forward and do the same for others. So this is how we operate, and we have our own little economy going on around just this book. This book is more valuable than the $100. And let me explain. You've heard the aphorism, you teach a boy, give a boy a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach him how to fish and he'll eat forever, right? This is a fish. So if I give you, or you keep your $100, you have a fish, but once you eat it, it's gone forever. Whereas this is actually teaching you how to fish. And not only is it teaching you how to fish, which is how to multiply and make money yourself, but it is also teaching you that you own the pond. As a child of God, your abundance is your birthright. I am come that they may have life and have it more abundantly. So nobody's ever told you that end of the aphorism, because I added that on. It's like, I don't just even know how to fish. I need to know that I actually own the entire pond that all the fish are in. And when I desire a fish, I can actually go get a fish and I can eat of it. So when you actually realize that you own the entire pond, it's all three levels combined in one, right? Not only do you own the pond, you also know how to fish, and you can go eat when you desire. Or in money terms, you realize that everything that the creator has created is abundance. It is at your fingertips, right? You have to know how, through the power of your mind, to turn those ideas into income. And when you have that income, you get to eat of it and you get to consume some things that you desire here in this earthly realm. So this is how we think about it. Everybody type, I own the pond. Everybody type, I own the pond. I own the pond. Everybody type, I own the pond. See, that takes that whole aphorism to a whole nother level. Give a boy a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a boy how to fish, he'll eat forever. Help him own the pond, and he'll feed generations to come. Okay? So, I'm committed to creating generational wealth, or what I like to call regenerational wealth. And so I need you to know that you own the pond, meaning that everything that is in the Mother, Father, God storehouse is at your fingertips, because you are a child of God. Everything that is in the Mother, Father, God's storehouse, it is willing and ready to give to you, to the extent that you are able to receive, to the extent that you know that abundance is your birthright, and that everything here is yours, but not yours in a possessive way, as in, I own this earth. I'm a child of God, therefore this earth is mine. No, yours in a sense of stewardship, meaning that you get to use everything that is available to you to do good and do God in this world. Okay, it's not yours in terms of possession. We need to change the way we think about the word yours. It's not yours. This money is in my possession, right? But it is not mine. My name is not on this money. I don't own any of this money. This is not my money. This is economic. This is stored energy. This is an inert spiritual substance that God has given to me, right? So that I can actually go do more good and more God in this world. That's all it is. It is not mine, though. I don't take it with me. None of it is mine, right? So I never call this my money. So we have to release the possessiveness. And so the story of the rich man in the Bible, I think we already covered it. When Jesus was like, you need to give up everything that you have. The issue there was not that he was rich. The issue was that he was possessed by his possessions. He was possessed by his possessions. He was possessed by things outside of himself. And he was not willing to give up anything outside of himself to walk in alignment with God. I've done the exact opposite. I have sacrificed everything that I needed, everything that I thought I needed from an external reality standpoint, and I chose to walk in my God-given purpose. And guess what? Seek ye first the kingdom of God and all its righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. So all the abundance that you see in my life from my own real estate portfolio, you have no clue what my bank accounts look like, right? And in terms of all the things that I've been able to help people manifest through the multifamily movement, to see the movement that we have here, how many people have bought this book, etc. All of that has come by walking in alignment with my purpose. So what I'm doing is I'm being a living demonstration for all of you of what it looks like to follow God by walking in your God-given purpose and finding your blessing model, which is how you give to the world, and your business model, which is how you receive. Once you are able to do those things, you will reach levels of abundance. And abundance is not just money, okay? Abundance of love, abundance of time, abundance of health, abundance of friendship, abundance of community, abundance of joy. You will have an abundance in so many ways. Some of you are trying to do it backwards. You're trying to go get the money first and then say, once I have enough money, then I'm going to do good. Then I'm going to start a nonprofit, etc. I'm telling you that it is backwards, family. It is backwards. And so I'm trying to show you what it looks like to do it differently. And this is a faith walk. This is a faith walk. I'm relying on something that I cannot even see. I'm relying on the unseen God and the unseen universal laws that this God has created. And as I get clearer and clearer on what those unseen laws are, I can actually master them and utilize them for the greatest good possible for all. Okay. So we are here on page 323 today, 323, and we're reading How to Stop Picking Cotton, right? And so let's start with the scripture of the day. Thus the saying, one sows and another reaps, is true. I sent you to reap what you have not worked for. Others have done the hard work, and you have reaped the benefit of their labor. John 4:37-38. The US dollar is 75% cotton. The US dollar is 75% cotton. Most of you didn't know that. Okay, which means that Americans are still picking cotton while working on the corporate plantation. Many of you are still picking cotton while working on the corporate plantation, and you didn't even know. You thought that slavery was gone because there's no shackles anymore. Well, we're engaged in what I call modern day slavery. Modern day slavery, right, is where it's mental and it is monetary. This is why many of you are in debt bondage right now due to student loans, single family home mortgages, credit card bills, taxes that are due, medical bills. It is bondage. That is the new form of bondage. It is mental and it is monetary. Okay. So this is cotton. And when you go to the corporate plantation, you are still picking cotton. Slavery hasn't gone anywhere. It's just adapted. It has redesigned itself. Okay. Modern day slavery is mental and monetary, and it applies to all people. You have to overstand it so that you can stand over it. We aren't getting lynched, but we are getting loans. You pay tens of thousands of dollars for college, and you get a 10-cent piece of paper called a diploma. You paid probably upwards of $100,000 to get a 10-cent piece of paper, plus the 4 years of time wasted learning things that are irrelevant to anything that you do today, that didn't teach you how to create money and create the life that you desire or get clarity on your purpose in any way. That is a bad investment. That is a bad investment. Now, if you went there to college and you did the bare minimum that you needed to get the grades and to graduate, but you used the rest of that time to grow and develop yourself, you will find that you are having more success in life than those who just got the diploma. Okay? Did you know that the mahogany frame that you put your diploma in is actually worth more than the piece of paper? The mahogany frame that you get to put the diploma in for $125 at the bookstore is worth more than the actual diploma that you have. Go try it. Go to a pawn shop. Go to the pawn shop and say, how much would you give me for this diploma? And how much would you give me for this frame? You will get more for the frame than you would get for the actual diploma. Okay? Your diplomas are printed out at Kinko's on some stock paper with gold trim. It costs the college nothing. That's the reward you got for 4 years of time going through their programming and their methodology. Let's just keep it real, family. So you buy a single family home and you end up paying the equivalent of 2 times 2 homes after interest, taxes, insurance are applied. You make your employer millions while you get bi-weekly rations of flat cotton called money. Oh yeah, I get paid $250,000 a year. Well, that may sound nice, but how much did you make them? You made them $2.5 million and you got 10% of that. What if you could command even half of that on your own? What if you could command $1 million on your own without them? Wouldn't that be a richer life? That you could actually create money on demand without having to go through that organization, right? There's nothing wrong with the job. Okay. I've had them too. There is something wrong with believing that it is the way to wealth unless you have significant equity in the company you work for or headed for a C-suite position. The only way to become wealthy through a job, family, is if you have extensive equity in the company, meaning that you were there in the early stages or you maximize the employee profit share or equity share. That's the only way to become wealthy, by working for a company, or you made it to the C-suite, and the package at a suite with a C-suite position is actually one that is meaningful. Otherwise, it's going to be very hard to achieve wealth through a job. I just don't know how else to say it. It's just the reality. What is the highest paid person in your company? What is the tier under them? And what is the tier under them? And how many people get to those particular tiers, right? So the key to freedom is owning assets and growing your equity, not just your hourly. Some of you are so focused on, oh, I'm making $50 an hour. I want to make $60 an hour. Or now I want to make $70 an hour. You're focused on growing your hourly. In order to achieve real wealth, you have to grow your equity, not your hourly. Okay. There are only three places to get money beyond an inheritance, the lottery, a lawsuit, or doing something illegal. There's only three places to get money beyond an inheritance, the lottery, a lawsuit, or doing something illegal. You can get money from assets, customers, or an employer. Everybody type that. You can get assets from type asset, customer, employer. This is called the ACE framework. ACE, ACE, assets, customer, or employers. Those are the only three places to get money outside of inheritance, the lottery, a lawsuit, or doing something illegal. Okay? Assets, customers, or an employer. Okay? Now, typically, you can only have one employer, but you can have many customers, right? And you can have many assets. But typically, you can only have one employer. Now, during the pandemic, some people found ways to have two full-time jobs. And I love that. I love their hustle and the creativity. For some of you, it never crossed your mind that now that I don't have to go in the office, I can actually have two full-time jobs. For some of you, it didn't even cross your mind. Did it even cross your mind that you could have two full-time jobs during the pandemic? Some of you are like, oh, I'm working at home. I'm just going to be lazy and I'm going to let this one job pay me. When that entire time, while you didn't have to go in the office, you could have had two full-time jobs and nobody would have known. You could have doubled your pay during the pandemic, but you were thinking about how you could do less, not how you could do more. If you had two full-time jobs during the pandemic, type me. No, put the number 2. If you had two full-time jobs during the pandemic, type the number 2. I just want to see if anybody was thinking on that level. Look at how many people on YouTube. 2 full-time jobs. Okay? They were thinking with abundance mindset. Oh, I don't have to physically show up anywhere now. I'm going to get 2 full-time jobs. Look at this. This is so beautiful. I'm so glad that you are thinking. Nicole said, I have 2 full-time jobs right now. That never even crossed some of your minds. That you could have 2 full-time jobs, family. I know some of y'all, I know those with one, you're like, some of y'all had 0 and some of y'all had 1. I know you're like, what? That ain't even that. What? I could have had 2 jobs? Duh. Because the reality is you're not putting in 40 hours a week at that job, working from home. Yeah, Jamaicans, I got 3 jobs, man. I got 3 jobs. Remember that in Living Colors skit? Remember that in Living Colors skit where the Jamaican, and I'm Jamaican, by the way, okay? Where he was the pilot, he was the stewardess, and he was, I think, the mechanic. You remember that in Living Colors skit? He was the pilot, the stewardess, and like the mechanic. Right? Y'all remember. 3 jobs, man. They got 3 jobs. All right. So moving forward, we're at the bottom of page 323. All right. There are only I call this the ACE method. Most people only get money from an employer. An employer is singular because typically you can only have one employer at a time, with the exception of the pandemic. This is the paradigm of doing hard work for others and trading time for money. The next place to get money is directly from customers. You see, customers is plural, right? This is where you engage in hard work for yourself and your customers. Learning how to fish for yourself is good, but if you are not careful, your customers may become your bosses. Listen to me. If you are not careful, your customers may become your bosses, and you will feel like you just created a job for yourself. So this is why self-employed is not true entrepreneurship yet. Okay, it's on the way to entrepreneurship. It's a step towards entrepreneurship, but it is not entrepreneurship because in many cases, most self-employed people have simply created a job for themselves. Okay. The third place to get money from is assets. The third place to get money from is assets. This usually requires a lot of unpaid work in the beginning, but over time, it requires the least amount of work while you get paid indefinitely. For example, I spent over a decade mastering financial spirituality by putting in my 10,000 hours about a year to write the Rich and Righteous book. But this intellectual property or asset, this right here, will pay me forever. This book is so valuable because of the time and energy, the concentrated time and energy I put into it by waking up at 3 a.m. every single day to get this book out to you, right? Not only to write it, it was double the size of this, and then going through the editing process of bringing it back down, reading the book myself 5+ times, then doing the audio book, which took me 24 hours of speaking time to record. That is concentrated energy. It is all in here now, and this will pay me forever. And even after I'm gone, this book will continue to pay my estate, right? So I had to put in a lot of free work and time and concentrated energy to get this asset. But this is an asset that will be here forever. I believe that this book is timeless. I believe that this book is timeless and that it will last generations. Okay. So this is an example. You have an example of it in your hand right now. Okay. The goal is to get from E to A. So in the ACE framework, we're trying to get from E, which is employee, all the way to A, which is assets. You can build or buy your way to get from one stage to the next. Below is a chart of various types of revenue streams offered by each option. Okay, so everybody take a screenshot of this chart here. If you do not have the book, take a screenshot of this. I'll leave this up for 10 seconds on YouTube. Okay, I'll leave it up for 10 seconds on YouTube. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Instagram, take a screenshot of this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, cool. Please like or share this video. We have 344 people, 359 people now on YouTube, but 176 likes. So if this space has been blessing you, the only thing I ask for without begging is a like and a subscribe to the channel. A like and subscribe to the channel. All that I'm asking for is the click of a button to say that you like this content so that we can break these algorithms, and subscribe to the channel so that you can get alerted when I go live. All right. Same thing for all of those on IG. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Okay. So those are the 3 ways to get money. As an employer, hard work for others. You got a salary, a 401k, and a pension. And I don't even know if they give pensions anymore. Okay. Customers, hard work for self. Cash from businesses you directly run. Affiliates, advertisers to help other people get customers. And then assets. This is the very little work. Okay. That's income property. This is why I'm so invested in multifamily real estate, digital products, stocks and bonds, savings account interest, which isn't that much right now, and businesses you own, but you don't work in daily. Okay. This is the ACE method. We're on the top of page 325 now. Many people have difficulty reaping or receiving things they have not sown, but it happens all of the time. Consider all of the things you did not sow that were already here for you to enjoy when you got here. The land, oxygen, your body, your imagination, the sun, nature, your parents, the roads you drive on, the home you live in, the internet, electricity, and language. We are in a natural state of abundance. I need you to recognize that we are in a natural state of abundance. You didn't just come out of thin air and then as a baby had to figure it out. You were born into abundance. All of these things were already here for you to use as tools to create and manifest whatever you desire. Yet some people are still in the mindset that you reap exactly what you sow, though John 4:38 says, I sent you to reap what you have not worked for. Others have done the hard work, and you have reaped the benefits of their labor. Let's look at this from an economic standpoint. Employees do not reap what they've sown. Even if they generate $1 million in sales, they still get the same salary. The entrepreneur or investor is reaping what they did not sow. So as an employee, you cannot move in this way. The entrepreneur or investor is reaping what they did not sow. They might have sowed a financial seed of investment, but they didn't sow any time, which is actually the most valuable thing. When you are self-employed, it balances out more and you reap according to what you sown. But when you become an entrepreneur or investor, you reap what you have not sown by having your assets work for you. This is the same place where exponential growth can occur. Employees and the self-employed can only yield linear growth because they are trading time for money. There are steps to get from one form of getting money to the other, and we will go through them now. Okay. I don't know the joke. I don't know the joke directly, but let me try to pull it up. There was an employee that pulled into the parking lot, and then their boss pulled into the parking lot with some fancy car, right? Some Ferrari or something. And the employee said, "One day I would love to have a car like that." And the CEO and the boss says, I think he said something along the lines of, along the lines of, "Yeah, if you keep working hard for me, I'll have another one next year," or something like that. So I don't know the exact joke. I need to go find it, but it was really an example of the employee thinking that he could get what his boss gets by doing what he was doing, and the boss is like, "No, I actually need you to keep doing what you're doing so that I can have what you want." Y'all get the gist of it, even though I didn't land it properly. I need to go look it up. All right. So we're at the bottom of page 325. Step 1, learn how to earn money from an employer. That is the first step. There's nothing wrong with the job. I just need you to know that it is the first step to building wealth. We need to amass some money to get this cycle going. Remember the wheels of fortune that I showed you before? We're going to trade time for money, right? We're going to go in clockwise fashion, trading time for money until we can invest in things that actually reverse and actually give us our time back. Okay. This is skilled labor. Whether it is blue collar or white collar, it is still a collar. Oh, I got a blue collar job. I got a white collar job. I'm better than you. Do you realize that it is still a collar? Everybody type, "It's still a collar." Please type that it's still a collar. My collar is a better color than yours. What? It's still a collar, family. Why do you want a collar? Why do you want a collar? Collars are for dogs. You wonder why I typically wear collarless shirts? Because I don't want a collar. I don't wear ties. I don't have not one tie. A tie looks too close to a noose to me. If they just took the tie and went like this, yeah, you would basically have a noose on. What does a tie do for your outfit? Fellas, what does a tie do for your outfit? Tell me. It's just to remind you that you got a leash on you. It's a reminder that you got a leash. This is why I typically wear collarless shirts, family. Tell me, what is the purpose of a tie? What does it do? Okay? It's still a collar, family. Skilled labor is just above indentured servitude, which is one step up from slavery. With skilled labor, you trade time for money to collect more cotton for your master. No matter how much cotton you collect, you don't get paid anymore since your master pays for your time, not your production. I'm going to repeat that. With skilled labor, you trade time for money to collect more cotton for your master. No matter how much cotton you collect, you don't get paid anymore since your master is paying for your time, not your production. So some of you are afraid of sales jobs and things of that nature. I believe that sales is one of the most powerful skills that you can ever adapt. In fact, we're always selling ourselves. You sold yourself to that. You see, you didn't have to go to the auction block. You sold yourself to that company. When you went in the interview, you sold yourself to that company. When you're on a date, you're selling yourself to a potential prospect. We are always selling ourselves, whether you like sales or not. We are always selling ourselves. Okay. But the issue here is that you don't get paid anymore, no matter how much cotton you collect for your master. You don't get paid anymore because your master is paying for your time, not your production. With a sales job that's commission based, I get paid for my production. But some of you don't have enough faith in yourself to actually design your contract in such a way where you actually get paid for your production. Your skills may make the job easier for you, but it doesn't make it more lucrative for you. So when you get retooled. When you strengthen your skills, it makes the work easier for you, but it doesn't make it more lucrative for you. You still get paid the exact same amount. In fact, because you were so skilled, listen to this. Here's the danger. Because you were so skilled, you end up doing more work than most. They say if you want something done, give it to who? If you want something done, who do they say give it to? They say give it to a busy person. Why? Because you know that they'll get it done. You could earn more with your skills elsewhere or on your own if you knew how to market yourself. But comfort causes many to stay at this level. You earn money while others make it off your back. You earn the money while they make it off your back. Okay? So you wonder why they keep giving you more work. And some of you have gotten great at things that you hate. Some of you are at jobs where you've gotten great at things that you hate. Guess what happens when you get great at something, y'all? What do you think happens when you get great at something? You get more or less of it. When you get great at something, what do you think happens? You get more or less of it. They give you more of what you hate. You got great at something you hated, and because you were great at it, they didn't care whether you hated it or not. Because you were great at it, they gave you more of it. So why not just go get great at something that you love? It's the same energy. Why not just go get great at something that you love if it's the same energy requirement? Why get great at something you hate if it's only going to yield to you getting more of the thing that you hate? Step 2, you learn how to make money from customers. Okay. This is the self-employed and owner-operating entrepreneurs. You have stepped off the corporate plantation and figured out how to gather cotton for yourself. Though you're still trading time for money, you have more autonomy and freedom. There's no slave driver or brown nosing or house Negroes looking over your shoulder. You get to be you and do you. Over time, you can develop a real asset that grows beyond you as your systems improve. This position is empowering and you feel independent because you don't have to rely on someone or something outside someone or something else to take care of your needs. This is so you know how to produce from within. You're not picking somebody else's cotton for them. You actually know how to produce cotton for yourself now. You have your own field now. Okay? If you're not careful, you can find yourself working more than before and burned out because you are wearing every hat in your business and it all falls on you. There is a difference between working in your business and working on your business. As Chief Everything Officer, some of y'all are CEOs. Oh, look at me in my bio, I'm a CEO. You are a Chief Everything Officer, not Executive Officer. As Chief Everything Officer, you've gone from having a job with an employer to having several jobs in your own company. I'm gonna repeat that. You're a CEO now, right? But as Chief Everything Officer, you've gone from having one job with an employer to having several jobs in your own company. The goal is to become Chief Executive Officer, where you run the business and it doesn't run you. Systems and sales is a critical step in this transition. Systems take you out of the business and allow you to hire people. Sales is the lifeblood of a successful business. If sales feel like a sleazy word to you, I invite you to try my definition. Okay? How many of you feel like selling something is sleazy? You think used car salesman. You think the guy with his hair slicked back trying to get over on you. How many of you think that sales is sleazy? Well, listen to this. Listen to this. Changed everything for me. This allowed me to step in my purpose and actually receive the abundance that the value that I was creating in the world deserved. You ready? Listen to this. Sales is simply the process of getting someone to accept help. Sales is simply the process of getting someone to accept help. That definition of sales that was divinely downloaded to me changed everything. You won't see that definition on the internet. I didn't steal that from anybody. That was a divine download that I got that freed me to get on camera when I felt uncomfortable, to do a webinar when I felt uncomfortable, to make an offer when I felt uncomfortable. That definition freed me. You are being selfish when you don't share and sell. If you know that someone's life will be better because of you, because of your presence, product, or service, then you have a moral obligation to sell them what you have, because you will help them get what they want faster, safer, and easier than if they were to go after it without you. You are literally being selfish. Some of you have a book inside of you. You have a coaching program inside of you. You have a product inside of you. You have a speech inside of you. But because you're afraid to sell it, you are actually robbing people who actually need it. They are looking for you to show up. They are looking for your product. They're looking for your service. They are looking for you. But because you are, what do they say? An introvert, because you're afraid of public speaking, you are now cutting off, your selfishness is now cutting off hundreds and thousands of people from getting the solution that was given to you as a gift from God. You are being selfish for not sharing and not selling. Now they have to stay in their state of suffering because you didn't show up. They have to stay in their state of suffering. Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have to stay in their state of suffering because one person, you, didn't show up because you were afraid of selling. Go ahead. Yeah, I was selfish. Let's put that in past tense. Say, I was selfish. We're not going to say I am selfish. No, that's over now. As of this moment, it's over. That's in the past now. So we can use was. Say, I was selfish. If you know that was you, just type, I was selfish. That's not your identity, okay? We know as children of God, we are by default givers, right? But something was blocking you from giving, and it was selfishness and insecurity. I was selfish. My past, my old self was selfish. I will no longer be selfish. I'm a giver. As a child of God, my default state is to be a giver. And in order to give at the greatest level possible, I have to become a better receiver. Okay? Now we are on step 3. Step 3. Learn how to make money from assets. Learn how to make money from assets. This is the investors and the non-owner This is the investors and non-owner operating entrepreneurs. This is the investors and the non-owner operating entrepreneurs. So I'm the owner of it, but I don't operate the business. I own that Chick-fil-A, but I don't operate the Chick-fil-A. I don't even have to go in if I don't want to. Okay? You have likely created a stockpile of cotton at this stage by having some cash and perhaps equity from steps 1 and 2. You realize that if you can grow this stockpile, the return on investment will be enough for you to stop trading time for money. Rather than having a stockpile after being on the corporate plantation for 40 plus years and watching it deplete year by year during retirement, you have learned how to keep it going and growing by investing in assets such as real estate, stocks, currencies, and businesses. You shifted entirely away from hourly work and now just seek to make your equity work. Type equity work versus hourly work. Equity work versus hourly work. I want to see my equity work. Equity work. What Beyonce say? Pay me in equity. She's also getting some of y'all to pay thousands of dollars for some tickets. Pay me in equity. Okay. Equity work versus hourly work. You want to know the beautiful thing about equity work, family? Does equity work hit your pockets if you don't sell? Does equity work hit your pockets if you don't sell? Does equity work hit your pockets if you don't sell? No, it doesn't. Your equity is just growing. My equity in many of my properties is just continues to grow. And guess what? When it doesn't hit your pockets, what doesn't happen, y'all? When it doesn't hit your pockets, what doesn't happen? You don't get taxed. When your equity is growing inside an asset, whether it's real estate, a business, etc., and you don't pull out, you don't get taxed. But your wealth continues to grow. And we know that taxes is one of the biggest things that we have to shake if we want to create wealth, because it is the biggest stealer of wealth. Outside of your housing expense, whether that's the rent or a single family mortgage, your taxes is the next thief. So we want our equity to work. We don't just want to increase our hourly work. We want to increase our equity work. Okay. Last paragraph. These are the 3 stages everyone must go through to escape the corporate plantation. You can either work hard for someone else, work hard for yourself, or make something work hard for you. As you elevate, you will notice that you go from working hard to hardly working. See, you think in your mind that being wealthy requires you to work harder. And this is why subconsciously some of you don't become more wealthy, because you think it means more work. You think it means work. But when you have assets working, you actually go from hard working to hardly working. True wealth is where you don't have to trade time for money. Therefore, you hardly have to work. I hardly have to work. I choose to do this work, family. I don't have to work, but I choose to do this work. And even the active income that I do have, it still brings me more abundance. But I choose. I'm in a place where I get to choose to work. I don't have to work anymore. I could stop for the rest of my life right now. But I choose to do this work. And it also happens to continue to bring in more cotton. Okay. And what do I do with that cotton? What do you think I do with that cotton? Do I put it in A, C, or E? What do you think I do with that cotton? Do I put it in A, C, or E? I take that cotton and I put it into more A's. Okay? You don't have to wait until you have tons of cotton saved up to start investing. You can invest in yourself, your ideas, real estate, or stocks right now. As I said before, they confused you about where you must tithe. They have you tithing to the building fund, to the church. God does not dwell in temples made with the hands of man. What is the only temple that is not made with the hands of man? Everybody point to your temples. Your temples are right here. So my question to you is, are you tithing to your temple, family? I'm not saying don't tithe to that church as long as it's causing you to grow spiritually. But if you're just going there for entertainment, if you only go in there for the fashion show and for the entertainment, stop. Those ministers, you can even see their Instagram clips. They don't even teach from here anymore. They don't even open this book anymore. And when they do teach from here, they're pulling the same 10 scriptures over and over and over again. They won't read to you John 10:34, where it says, ye are gods. How many of you ever heard that scripture read in church on Sunday? Why won't they read that scripture? Why won't they decode and go into a whole sermon on that scripture on Sunday? Are you tithing to this temple? And then secondly, the most valuable currency we have is the energy in our body. It is the God-given energy in our body. Are you tithing your time to your spiritual growth and development? I know you are, because you were here. We spent almost an hour here. And we know if you were awake 16 hours, then 96 minutes would be tithing of your time. This is the temple that I need you to invest in. You are the greatest asset. Stop looking for assets outside of yourself. Stop. If you have no assets right now, or you think you have no assets, because it's really just a thought, there's something valuable inside of you. So you need to cultivate that. You have a gold mine in your golden mind. But it's up to you to excavate, to sift through the dirt and the programming in order to find that gold that is inside of you. Every company that you're trying to buy a stock in, guess what? Where did it come from, family? Every company that you're trying to buy a stock in, where did it come from? It came from the mind of a man. And by man, I don't mean gender. It came from the mind of a human being, just like you, who came out of a womb just like you, who eats, sleeps, and shits just like you. There's no difference between them and you. What you have to harness is the power and the wealth that is here in your temple. And once you own this mental real estate, I know that you can own actual physical real estate. I own my mental real estate before I owned any physical real estate. Everything starts here, but you must invest in this, right? In order to sharpen your mind, because scripture says, be ye transformed by the renewing of what? Your mind. It doesn't say be ye transformed by buying stocks. It doesn't say be ye transformed by buying real estate. It says be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Because once this elevates, then everything around you in your earthly experience must elevate according to the law of core respondents. Of core respondents. It responds to who you are at your core. You do not get what you want in life, family. I'm sorry. You get who you are. As a man thinketh in his heart, conscious mind, subconscious mind, heart mind, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. You get, or the universe responds, God responds to who you are at your core. That concludes today's reading. If you joined us late or you're just stumbling upon us for the first time, we are reading Rich and Righteous, Spiritual Secrets to Mastering Money Manifestation in Your Mind. You can get a copy of the book at moneyandmanifestation.com. That's pinned on YouTube and it's pinned on Instagram. If you want to continue the conversation throughout the week, we have a Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Rich and Righteous. So let me just type that in. That's facebook.com/groups/Rich and Righteous. All right. So go ahead and join that group. There are people in that group who are looking to give away the extra copies of their book. So if you are in a temporary state of lack and you don't have $100 to invest in your temple, there are ways to get the things that you desire without money. But for those of you who just want to expand your abundance, who are already flowing, but know that you can multiply what you have, then go ahead and get the book at moneyandmanifestation.com. I have an appointment on Monday. I have something to do on Monday morning. And so I will not be live, but I have already recorded Monday's reading for you. Okay. I have an appointment on Monday morning. And so I have already recorded Monday's reading for you. When you get here to YouTube, it will only be on YouTube on Monday. Okay. For all my Instagrammers, it will only be on YouTube. In fact, all my Instagrammers, go over to YouTube right now. Go over to my YouTube right now. It's julliengordon.com. It will stream live at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday. And I want you to engage in chat as if I was here. Okay. I still want it to be lit. All right. But I can't be in front of a computer with internet at 8:30 on Monday. And so I've already pre-recorded that for you. I'm telling you and showing you what it looks like to be consistent. We are going to be consistent all the way through the end of the book. We're not going to miss a weekday, right? And I just want to show you and demonstrate the power of consistency. Consistency is the outward representation of inner belief. When you believe something, you believe exercise is helping you, you'll consistently do it. When you believe reading is consistently helping you, you'll consistently do it, right? And consistency is the same as you religiously do it. There are people who work out religiously. There are some of you who show up here religiously, right? There's some of you who eat healthy religiously, right? Because you actually believe in it. So I'm showing you what consistency looks like, what it means to do something religiously, and to actually demonstrate belief, inward belief, outwardly through consistency. All right. So it will stream live on YouTube. All my Instagrammers, are you clear on that? All my Instagrammers, please type clear. Because I know some of you like Instagram better. I know Caesar and Blessed Energy. I know you are always on Instagram. All right, everybody on Instagram, please type clear. Everybody on Instagram, please type clear. On Monday, it will only be on YouTube. On Monday, we will only be on YouTube because I had to pre-record due to an engagement that I have that I can't move. I cannot be in front of a computer and internet on Monday morning. Everybody on Instagram, clear on that. So you're going to go to YouTube on Monday at 8:30. All right. This has been a beautiful, beautiful reading, family. I appreciate each one of you. You know that we do not call it a weekend. We call it a strong end. This is our opportunity to build strength. So I wish you a great, strong end. And I pray that you get the rest that you need. We know that creator rest is an important part of this journey. But we want to stop resting to only go give our energy back to the corporate plantation, back to entities and organizations that we don't reap from. Okay. We are getting strong to make sure that we have enough energy to concentrate and pour in to create assets like this. Whether it's a book, whether it's a product, whether it's a service, whether it's a business, whether we're going to buy real estate, we need to concentrate our energy. And so I pray that the next 2 days strengthen you, that it is a strong end, not a weak end. All right. Love y'all. I will see you soon. Peace.